This weekend, someone asked me, so what happened at Heathrow? And I tried to explain it to them. And they said, whoa, what's that got to do with it? Wasn't it Putin? And I had to say, look, just bear with me a minute. Because much as hawks would love it to be Putin, there doesn't seem to be the slightest evidence that Putin was involved. And frankly, even if he was, there probably wouldn't be at this point. Would we want to admit that our infrastructure is so poorly protected it can be attacked so easily? But electricity substations are dangerous places. A lot of us down our street will have a substation hidden behind a wooden fence with gravel on the floor so it's nicely protected, a metal cage around it so that it's more protected, and a big sign saying not a place to play. And they're generally hidden away looking a bit dull to discourage people going in. Occasionally, you see a really monumental one. The one that springs to mind for me is on the M6. If you go through Spaghetti Junction, as you're going north, there's a huge electricity substation with dozens of converters. It feels like an industrial factory more than a substation. Well, the one at Heathrow was a bit like that. And there may be a very small percentage of them chance of them going, but they are dangerous. And when you have dozens of them, there is a small statistical chance of one of them setting on fire. And that can happen in a perfectly innocuous way. So really, I said to them, what caused it was there was a technical problem and it set on fire. And they're very dangerous units carrying huge levels of current. But I said to them, what the real question isn't why did a substation set on fire, or why did the media immediately suggest that it was a state attack on UK? The real question is why are we so obsessed with the 2030 target? And they were rather confused. They don't really watch the news, so 2030 target wasn't really something they could quite get their head around. Well, we had diesel generators at Heathrow, and most diesel generators could kick on immediately, and you've got your power requirement, and you can forget about the grid until the grid's fixed. So you just disconnect, couple of minutes, say an hour's hassle, and then you're back on track. But if you lose an hour of electricity at a place like Heathrow, that's already a nightmare. You've got huge volumes of aircraft, you've got zero wiggle room. Stand near the airport and you see them streaming in about, if they're a wide body jet, less than 3 minutes apart. If they're smaller jets, closer than that. It's like a traffic jam in the air. As soon as one aircraft clears the runway, another one is very much descending. It's pretty much landing. But everything has to be net zero by 2030. We're even sometimes told we voted for it, although I can tell you this voter I was talking to had no idea that's what they'd voted for the last 3 times. We replaced that diesel generator with a biomass generator. The biomass basically means we burn green stuff and that makes it green. Because we're burning renewables, it's green. But are trees really renewable? They are to a degree, but it often leads to strip mining of forests in a way that wouldn't be approved of if it didn't get a grant from the government to be green. If you didn't say it was environmentally friendly to ravage a hillside of trees, then no one would actually volunteer the fact that it was. And here we are. We can't maintain Heathrow Airport if there's a failure in the grid. Well, it's a good job that we're not putting the grid at risk by using renewables which aren't available all of the time. Because there's that funny thing with solar that it doesn't work at night, and with wind that it doesn't work when it's too windy. And with nuclear that, oh no, nuclear's good, but we don't do that because it's too awkward to explain. So instead, we go with unreliable, heavily subsidised replacements for fossil fuels. And Heathrow shows us what happens.